Welcome back and Happy New Year 2025. This is Hot Takes with Kari and Keelan. I am Kari Rae Davis with Kari Sells the City.
And I'm Keelan Harvey with the Harvey Home Teams and Highlands Residential.
So, welcome back to the new year, Keelan. How did everything end for you last year?
Really kind of uneventful, right? End of the year kind of fizzled. I don't think, but kind of par for course when it comes to the season, right?
Right.
Everybody's, you get through the holidays and all that. But I've already seen a tick up in activity starting the beginning of this year. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to kick 2024 to the curb. I'm ready for 25, a new year, new possibilities. And I'm certain that 2025 is going to be better than 2024. So I'm excited for that. What about you?
I mean, things are good. I ended the year well, better than expected. 2024 was a little slow, but I am excited to kick off 2025 with some new business. So I'm excited. I want to thrive in 25, as everybody's saying. So
I haven't heard that. I've been living under a rock. I like that. Driving 25. I'm not gonna
thriving in 25. That's right.
I
So
like that.
so I'm curious how things, are looking for this next year for 2025. I know, we spoke broken record of 2024, hoping rates would come down, and they barely did.
Yeah.
They went back up really, technically, kind of to where they had started at.
Yeah, it's been a rough, crazy year. I mean, the biggest culprit has been the jobs, and that's kind of what threw us for a loop last year. The jobs and the adjustments that they made. It'd be interesting. I mean, we're talking about $100,000, 100,000 jobs per month that they made adjustments on. So they all year kind of threw these headline numbers out and then made these adjustments after the fact, which kept rates perpetually higher. And it makes me wonder what our last year would have been like if there was actually accurate and appropriate data.
Right.
And I mean, just today we had I always do this. This is coming out tomorrow. Yeah. Or
No,
maybe
it's today. It's
Oh, it's
today.
coming out today. It's
Yeah,
coming
no,
out
today's
today. Okay.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. So, yeah, jobs report came out today, and wasn't good. So it wasn't good for mortgage rates. Which means jobs exceeded expectations significantly. When the economy's flourishing, rates are going to increase, and so it wasn't a good day. But who knows what that's again headline number. Who knows what's going to happen with that? We still expect rates to go down, but it just goes to show that we're starting the year off with some funkiness, as far as the job reports and stuff like that. I think everybody's kind of used to it at this point. You know what I mean?
I agree. I feel like that people have gotten used to the whole idea of the rates being where they're at and
Yeah.
that sticker shock of, what your rate used to be with a home that you currently own as to what it's going to be buying a new home. I feel like that sensitivity is going away. Like people need to move, people have jobs that are, new or they're changing locations or their family's getting bigger or smaller or whatnot. And so I do think that business as usual is going to continue. I am curious to see, with the new year, how that looks for business. Normally I feel like there's a big uptick in business in January. I haven't experienced that quite yet, but we're just getting started. I do
Yeah.
have some people that are, in the wings waiting, and those are just long term, people that I'm working with. So you just never know when you move when they're going to be ready. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. But I am hoping to have a better year than last year in the last 2 years. So I really want to grow my business this year. So
I think that's a guaranteed. I think we're going to be doing better this next year. I think rates are going to be better this year. I predict, and I don't have a crystal ball, and
yeah.
things can happen, but I predict that rates are high fives, low sixes. I
Okay.
think by the end of this year,
Okay.
nothing crazy. I mean, there's some things that can get in the way. When it comes, I think the headline and the thing we all need to be looking out for that's really going to affect mortgage rates. If you're going to be looking at everything, it's going to be jobs, unemployment, jobs, and period. I think
Mhm.
that's the key to this next year. I mean, job openings has gone down, unemployment has trended, is increased, so there's less people getting jobs. Now, it's kind of been fluctuating, but if you look over the long haul, it's the trend is unemployment is going up, job openings is going down. It's taking people longer to find jobs, and then we've had some huge closings. Closing of businesses is up 70% from 2023 to 2024. So there's been a bunch of like big corporate companies that have closed that a lot of people aren't aware of, like Party City, Big Lots, Family Dollar, Walgreens, Macy's. I mean, 7-Eleven, like crazy. Walgreens closed 1,200 stores.
I mean, I feel like they're falling off in our area. Like even,
Yeah.
Rite Aid, Bartell's, all of those big companies. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very interesting to watch these places that are institutions in our areas become no longer. So,
Yeah. And I mean the let's Yellen signed up for a whole bunch of debt at really low interest rate, and that debt's coming due. And I don't know what they're gonna do. They're now the Fed is in the same boat that a lot of us were in, where they have this low rate. Now that note's coming due, they're gonna have to refinance or do something, which means possibly printing more money.
mhm,
Who knows what they're gonna do, but I think eventually the wheels are gonna fall off of this thing, and it might take some time. I'm being a lot more conservative on our timelines now,
sure. I think that's
because
smart.
after last year, especially, it's just so weird and just kind of curveballs being thrown at us that, you know,
Well,
um,
it just goes to show we have no control, right? Like we are victims to, the climate and like what's happening. So we
absolutely.
just have to bob and weave and roll with what we're dealing with,
And strategize based on where we're at in the market,
right?
is the
Which is
main
what we
thing.
always do.
Yeah, I mean, we always
Mhm.
got a plan based on what we think's going to happen, and not only a plan A, but plan B and C for customers, right? Being conservative on your monthly payment, making sure you can afford it. You're
Right.
not house broke, and coming up with plans to make monthly payments lower. Buy downs, I think, are still a thing, and
Mhm.
depending on the property. I don't know what as far as my experience, things have been really weird. Like seller credits on one and then 10 offers on another. Like it's so weird right now. Inventory's still low.
Inventory is tight. There hasn't
Yeah,
been a lot to look at.
yeah. And demand is high
Mhm.
still. And I mean, there's a huge need for housing. We're not going to meet building like nearly as much building as we need to house the amount of people. So it'll be interesting, but housing's strong, and it's proven strong. I think last year we appreciated just under 5% by the end of the year in these crazy interest rates and everything. Like, what a solid investment.
I
And it'll
agree.
continue to be a solid investment. I think we'll see similar this next year to be conservative as far as appreciation. I think 4.5 to maybe low fives, depending on what happens. The thing that's crazy right now is if like jobs report, like if jobs actually comes through and overall, like, there's some bad news, which I think they're overstating jobs.
You
If
really
that
want a bad
happens,
jobs report, right? Is that what
I
you
can't wait for a bad jobs
You're
report.
like,
Like,
please give it to me.
it's
That's bad.
killing me. I'm sorry, economy and people. If you are struggling to get a job, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
lower rates would help so many people, considering the last couple of years. So I am thinking of a greater good, maybe not
Right.
everybody, but
Right. Yeah.
the fact of the matter is lower rates with a lot of people would. I mean, a lot of people can't get into a house, and I can't stand people renting. It drives me crazy. Like
I mean, you're
lighting
pay
your money on
somebody's mortgage, you
fire.
might as well pay your own.
Right? Like you're just lighting so much money on fire. It kills me. Like I think everybody should be a homeowner. I know it changed my life. We've changed thousands of
So
people's
many.
lives in getting into a home, and it's just really hard right now with rates being higher and homes being more expensive. It's like the perfect storm. So I'm excited for this next year, what it'll bring. I think if rates get to low six, high five, I think it's going to go bonkers.
Yeah.
Even that, I think it's going to go bonkers. So, and when I say bonkers, meaning everybody and their mother is going to want to get into a house, and so that's going to
Pretty
drive the
busy.
prices of homes up.
Right.
We need some inventory too. We need to unlock those
Move
step
up
up
buyers.
buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, which I think will also happen if we get to low six, high fives. I think people will finally say, you know what, I'm getting rid of my 3% mortgage rate because I have so much equity in my home,
Yeah.
which,
Or they need a different scenario, right? I mean, people's lives change. That means your needs change. So, one thing I wanted to touch on, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, is all of the fires that have happened in the LA area. Um, I
yeah,
was shocked when I saw all of that today, and it's just so sad. My heart goes out to all of those people that have lost their homes. But I'm curious, I just wanted to talk about this really quick. Okay, so you've got a mortgage on a house and your house burns down. Like, what are your recourse? What's your recourse? I mean, what? what is there? And I know we spoke with a professional of yours before we started recording to talk about this, but I want to hear what you say.
Yeah, I mean, and I have to say too, thoughts and prayers goes out to everybody down there, and especially leading into what I'm going to say, which is
Right,
the fact of the matter is you're holding the bag.
right,
Like, if you don't have fire insurance is typically a rider. It's an unexpected event. Certain areas you're required to carry fire insurance if it's high risk, but in an area like Malibu and stuff like that, it's a rider. It's just like earthquake insurance, things
or
of that
flood
nature.
insurance,
Or
right?
flood insurance, right? In
Mhm.
Washington State, that's the biggest concern that we have is flood insurance, but there's flood zones, and mortgage companies require you to have flood insurance. If you're in a flood zone, it's very expensive, but that's the price that you pay to live in that area. But a lot of these people, unfortunately, the house burns down, you still owe your mortgage, and your insurance didn't cover it because it didn't cover the fire. That's a total loss. So now, unfortunately, you're stuck with the bag.
So you still
Really,
own your lot, technically. You still own the land.
I mean, at that point, you can continue to pay your mortgage, right? And
Okay,
the mortgage being paid on the completed structure on the land, right? So you're backwards right out of the gate. You know what I mean?
right.
So you can continue to do that. I mean, you could file bankruptcy, which I think is going to
Sounds
be the
like
number.
that would be the easiest solution for so many people. And then it would end up leaving the mortgage company with the note to pay off. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
Okay,
mean, you file bankruptcy, that's washed, now it's null and void, but that causes other problems too, right? And these mortgage companies I know are going to want to try to work with people because they don't want to be the ones holding the bag either.
right,
But, you're trying to get billed on that lot and now you're in more debt and, it's a pretty tough situation. I feel really bad for those people that might have worked their whole lives to pay their mortgage off
right.
and didn't have insurance, like it's gone. You
Ugh,
own the land and it's gone. The whole situation. I mean, that land is extremely valuable, and I hope that it's enough value that covers you and you can rebuild.
right.
I pray for those
Get
people.
something back out of it so you can rebuild your life in general. I mean,
Yeah,
so I
but
think this conversation kind of made me think, well, it makes me want to go review my insurance policy. Maybe that's what the lesson of this conversation is for those of you that have made it this far, is go review your insurance policy on your house to find out like what is covered and what happens in a tragedy, and do you need to maybe add, some riders to your insurance to help cover you in the case of something like this happening, which nobody ever foresees it. But tragedies happen in the blink of an eye, and I'm so sad for all of these people that have lost their homes.
absolutely. I mean, that's the risk I mean, that's what insurance plays on, right?
Right,
It's like the risk and and so it's a tough thing. Do you want to pay X amount more for this rider that you may never want to use? It's like car insurance, right? It's great when you have an accident. You're like, thank God I have car insurance,
yeah,
right? But you could pay for insurance forever and not need it. It's like this weird balance but I'm in the camp of if there is any risk, you're better to prepare yourself. Uh, I have an umbrella policy personally, so
okay,
like having additional coverage over umbrella, by the way, everybody, if you're going to do anything, go get an umbrella policy. It's a policy up and above your homeowner's insurance, your car policies that covers you in the millions, and it's dirt cheap. I'm talking like $20, $30 a month. You can get
really
millions of dollars of coverage that completely cover you. So if you have your drunk uncle comes and falls down your stairs and breaks his arm and he tries to sue you, or your
big
crazy
covers.
friend, does something stupid at your house, tries to sue you, it
You got
covers
crazy
you.
friends, Keelan? Is that what you're trying to
I might
say?
have a few, yeah. I won't name names, but but yeah, so far so good. But I'll tell you what, I have a umbrella policy that covers me up and above everything else. At a minimum, that's something you can do immediately. Go
Right.
insurance agent, get an umbrella policy. A lot of people are underinsured. Great point, Carrie. Go check your coverages and make sure that you have a strong foundation. I'm an advocate for life insurance as well. If you have responsibilities and things
Right. Or yeah, family, children.
family, stuff
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? I was in that business for a long time. So covering yourself foundationally, I think, is a lesson that we could learn going forward. Am I concerned about fire in Washington? You know,
I mean, I kind of am a little. I mean, just seeing what happened, it's like it could if it's dry enough, it can happen anywhere. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the climate's getting hotter. 2024 was the hottest year ever recorded, and we're seeing the repercussions of it now. So let's pray that it doesn't continue to be a year that like this, or like what happened in Australia 5 years ago, right? When
Yeah.
the Australia was on fire. So I don't know. It's kind of a depressing conversation. I'm sorry, everybody, but I definitely wanted to touch on it because it's something that I wanted to talk about. So, Keelan, thanks for calling, your colleague to talk with us a little bit about it to make sure that we weren't saying anything we shouldn't be saying. But unfortunately, folks, you don't have very many options when it comes to a tragedy like this if you're not covered. So,
Yeah, I thought, I knew the basically the scenario, but I wondered if there's something deeper, something that they can do because I feel so bad for these people, you know.
well, and maybe we'll find out over the next couple of weeks what FEMA does for folks. I mean, there's a lot, the federal aid is a real thing, but we'll see what happens. I mean, even Lahaina had to deal with this two summers ago. So,
Yeah, but sadly
okay.
what do they give them? $750 or something like
I
that?
I
A
can't. I
loan?
didn't. I don't know. Yeah, I
Something
didn't
like
read.
tiny that's not going to do anything, right? So, I
Right.
mean, that's a shame. But you know what? We are Americans and we care about each other. I hope that's not so divisive this year. We can kind of come back together as a
Yeah.
collective and love each other again and help each other out, and including these poor people in California.
Right. Right. We're gonna thrive in 25. Right.
Thrive in 25. We're a big family, everybody. Quit bickering, right?
Right. Yeah. So if anybody's got questions about the market, we want to help. You can always reach me at 206-330-6985.
Or you can reach me at 206-321-4941.
Awesome. Okay, Keelan. Well, thanks for taking the time tonight. And I can't wait to talk with you again. Have a good weekend.
You too, Carrie. Thanks for always having me.
Bye.
Bye.